Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailySheeple.com, and this is your news shot. So I was perusing the news, and I came about a article on the Pew Charitable Trust website. That's pewtrust.org. And it poses the question, is changing the Constitution the only way to fix Washington? This is a slippery slope, my friends. It says next month, in September, delegates of state lawmakers will travel to Phoenix, Arizona, to attend what organizers say will be the first formal conventions of states since the Civil War. Think about that for a second. Since the Civil War, states have never got together in a formal convention. Now they're getting together. They'll gather at the Capitol inside the turquoise carpeted House chamber and draw up rules for a hope-for-the-future meeting, a convention to draft an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. No, quote, amendment convention has taken place since the Constitution was written over 200 years ago. But the idea is gaining steam now, stoked by groups on the left and the right that say amendments drafted and ratified by states are the last best hope for fixing the nation's broken political system and dysfunction. Some say even tyrannical federal government. Yeah, that's me. Quote, we have a Congress in the United States made up of two bodies, the House and Senate, that are incapable of restricting their own power, said Texas State Senator Brian Birdwell, a Republican. Says with the conventions, he says, states are stepping in to clean up the mess. The current push for the convention began in the early years of the Obama administration, mostly driven by Republican lawmakers. Ohio Governor John Kasich and Texas Governor Greg Abbott are big supporters. So are former presidential candidates, Senator Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. Although many amendment topics have been proposed, the most popular would require the federal government to balance its budget. 27 states have passed resolutions in favor of a balanced budget amendment since the 1970s. The Balanced Budget Amendment Task Force, the main group currently pushing the idea, says it could get to 34 states before the next presidential election. But to get to two-thirds of the states required to force Congress to call a convention, the task force and its supporters, it says, will need to win over skeptical lawmakers and beat back opposing groups that say a convention called to discuss a single issue could end up rewriting crucial parts of the Constitution or scrapping the nation's founding document altogether. And this is where I come in, because it is truly and indeed a slippery slope. Because when you call an Article 5 constitutional convention, the entire Constitution is open to editing. You can cut and paste anything you want. And that, my friends, is the problem, because what could begin as, again, the road to hell paved by good intentions, hey, let's call this convention to bring about a balanced budget amendment. Next thing you know, the Second Amendment's on the table. Now, all of a sudden, this right shall not be infringed? Who needs that? Right? First Amendment. Well, maybe we should put a caveat in there for hate speech. Yeah, since we're here. Fourth Amendment. Unreasonable searches and seizures. What is that? You open things up to editing that you truly don't want people touching. And that, my friends, is exactly why I oppose an Article 5 constitutional convention. And if they want to go about changing the Constitution, then just get the majority of the states, two-thirds of the states, to actually agree and ratify the doggone thing. Why do we need a convention of states? And let me ask you this, in all honesty, how bad would a balanced budget amendment truly be? Think about it. It would certainly rein in spending. It would certainly force the federal government to live within its means. It would scale back the warmongering military leviathan that we have that sucks up $600 billion in what's advertised. Then you have a black budget. Then you have all the interest you pay on the debt, on the wars that you say. It ends up costing you over $1 trillion a year just to fund the military. When all's said and done, I think the figure was $1.1 trillion. goes between paying down the debt on military spending, black budget, all that stuff ends up being about $1.1 trillion a year. You want to keep paying that? I don't want to pay it. Why do we have to have, 700 bases in almost, 180 countries? I can't remember what the exact... It's crazy, the amount of upkeep that we have to pay in this day and age. I'm not for drone warfare, don't get me wrong, but hello, why do we need all these bases if we have the technology that can reach out and touch someone anywhere, anytime? I'm just saying. It makes absolutely no sense. So to me, a constitutional convention, while well-intentioned, could have catastrophic consequences for you, for me, the left, the right. It doesn't matter who you are. Because once you open it up, the Constitution, for editing, anything goes. And I, for one, am not willing to put my rights up to somebody else's interpretation or negotiation. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. Have a great day.